guys, welcome back. So today we're doing something a little bit different. Gonna be taking a look at something that's very near and dear to my heart as a child, and that is Herbie the Love Bug. Um, this figure was made by Johnny Lightning and it came out in 2003, which would make this figure pretty much 22 years old, believe it or not. There's a more screen accurate version out there, the Hot Toys Elite, 118 scale Herbie, but there's no way I'm paying $400 for that. So I selected this one as something that was a nice representation. Might not be completely 100% accurate, but I think it does quite a good job. Nonetheless, let's crack this package open and see what we get inside. So before I open this package, I just wanted to note that there's tape going around the doors to keep them shut around the trunk, and I'm just a bit worried due to the length of time that this came out, that those things will rip those paint details completely off. So I'll be doing it on camera, so we'll see how it goes, and hopefully nothing gets damaged. So at the bottom, there's a nice little write-up about Herbie there. You could pause that and read. So the box seems simple enough to open. These plastic flaps just go in there. Seems like you could just bring him down. So at the bottom, you actually see some Phillips screws, and those screw directly into the bottom of the vehicle. So to get it off this stand, you're gonna have to unscrew. So with the trusty screwdriver, we're gonna undo these screws and carefully get them out of the package. Should probably put my hand on there so it doesn't go falling off. Maybe after the review, I'll put them straight back on this stand. Alright. And now for the actual scary part, which is taking off this tape and hoping that it doesn't rip any of the decals. Oh, it's not tape, thank God. It's actually like a band, like a plastic band. So with the trusty scissors, we can now just clip this off. So happy that wasn't tape. That would have sucked, honestly. Alright, so let's take a closer look at Herbie. And bear with me because I've never reviewed a car before. But it's always a first time for everything. Getting up close and personal, you can see all those nice chrome details there, typical of a 63 Volkswagen Beetle. You could see that California license plate. I like that they put some lines inside the plastic of the headlights. Give it a little bit more realism. And all along to the side, you could see the nice hubcaps, which is a little bit of an inaccuracy to the Lovebug, because he did have them in the show, but only when he was in the showroom. And once they put all the racing decals and stuff on him, those hubcaps were never on him again. You have these wipers here, they don't move, but they're made of some sort of a hard plastic, so you have to be extremely careful with those. Also this wing mirror, there's only one, as is on the Bug, but also made of hard plastic, so just be very, very careful. Now mine actually did have a little bit of blemishes going on there on the paint, which is a little bit unfortunate, but nothing too serious. See that 53 on the side there. And again, those chrome details going around. You could see those nice red plastic tail lights there. The license plate on the back again. These vents are actually a little bit inaccurate to the show. You can see a little bit more of the blemishing going on the paint there, which is a bit unfortunate. But it still does look good under the naked eye. Got all the exhaust pipes and stuff there. The underneath of the car, there isn't much here. Let me just zoom out a little bit. You can see Johnny Lightning 2003. These are the ports where you would screw the display stand into the car. You can see that little bit of engine detail there at the bottom. Really cool. Herbie was a 63 rag top. So this piece on top there is actually meant to be fabric on the real thing. But it just did some sculpted hard plastic, and it does look pretty good though. And it does seem to be the right color. You can see those indicator lights there. Pretty cool. You can see the rear view mirror and steering wheel and stuff inside there, which we'll take a closer look at shortly. So it really is a nice representation of the character. There are, as I mentioned, some inaccuracies. Another one is the fact that he's supposed to have an antenna, but in this case he doesn't. And as mentioned, these hubcaps weren't present on him in the Lovebug, but funny enough, they were present on him in Herbie Rides Again. So I guess if you wanted to have a representation of that, you could leave them on. So something I found out just by trial and error basically is the fact that these hubcaps are glued on. However, I went around them with a very fine blade and I was able to get them to pop off. Oops. And when you do that, you do get a more accurate to how Herbie looked in the movies, especially when he was racing and stuff. Let's see if I can get this one off. Had a little difficulty with that one there, but once you pop them off, you do get sort of a more movie accurate appearance. And that is how he looked. Inside this 5-star shape here, we need to paint this black to be more accurate, and we'll try to attempt to do that before the end of the video and see how that looks. The hubcaps are actually held on by two pegs, but they're also glued on as well, so just be very careful. You could actually see some remnants of the glue on this side, but there is a metal screw there, and I did add some magnets to the hubcaps, so that makes it a little bit easier to get on and off. But you still need to line up those pegs, and then if you prefer them off, just take them off like that. Alright, so getting right into the articulation, I'm just kidding, but he does have some play features, I guess you could call it. The doors do open, and with that you can actually see quite a detailed interior. Let me just zoom in there for you. So you can actually see the steering wheel there, and the steering wheel does indeed control the wheels, so it's kind of cool. There are the foot pedals in there. I know you could barely see them because they're kind of shadowed. You have the details on the door there. They even have the stick shift and the handbrake, so that's pretty nice as well. the inside of the seats. Even the back doors have those windows and stuff. So really cool. You could see some details on the dash if you open up this side. You could kind of see those pedals a little bit better on this side. But yeah, really cool looking. And in addition to the doors, the trunk also opens. Well, I say the trunk, but it's more of the like the bonnet, because the engine is located in the back on these types of cars. So you can actually see quite a lot of detail going on there. It's just all plastic, but still pretty cool that they added that. And then lastly, the hood opens, or you could see the trunk. And lastly, the trunk opens, which is really cool because he does tend to do that quite a lot in the movies. And they even included this spare tire, so that's pretty cool to have. And that just sits right there, and there you go. So I'm gonna try to attempt to do this on camera, or at least one of them, and I'll be using some Liquitex basic acrylic. And what we're gonna do, as mentioned, we are gonna go here on the tires inside the 5-point sort of star shape and paint that black. So with the paint job, this is how it looks, and definitely I will be displaying them like this. Maybe I'll take all those hubcaps and put them in the trunk. I think it came out great. I may have to take off the wheels and try to clean up a little bit around them, but I think for the most part it looks pretty decent. So Herbie is a 1/18 scale car, and that puts him around 8 inches long. Puts him about 3¼ inches tall, and he's about 3¼ wide as well. I don't really have any other vehicles to compare him to, but there he is next to Jada Toys Mega Man. There he is next to Jada Toys Ken. There he is next to NECA Mirage Donatello. And here he is next to Marvel Legends Ant-Man. So what more could I say really? Herbie's been a big part of my childhood and probably a lot of yours as well. So I definitely wanted to get a nice representation, and I think this does the job just fine. As mentioned, there's the Hot Toys Elite version, which is far more movie accurate, but the cost of that is around $300 to $400 US, so yeah. This is good enough for me, I think. And you could get this on eBay for anywhere from $50 something to around 100, so keep looking, keep bidding, and maybe you'll get one for a decent price. The only thing that could make this better is to have like some old scale versions of Jim, Tennessee, and Carol, and have them like sat inside Herbie. But I don't think I know of any figures that small that I could even customize into those. But if you all know of any, leave a comment. I'd appreciate that, and I'll definitely check it out. Nonetheless, hope you all enjoyed this review. I hope this helps anybody who is on the fence about getting this. And until next time, y'all take care.